What is the significance of the vital role that campaigns and elections play in the battle of ideas? We'll explore that question on Life Matters. Brian Johnston has served in many capacities while advocating for innocent lives. As the Western Director of the National Right to Life Committee, as California Commissioner on Aging, as Chairman of the California Pro-Life Council, on the board of the National Legal Center for the Medically Dependent and Disabled. And now here's our host, Brian Johnston.
Hey, well, welcome back to Life Matters. Thanks for that introduction. That was Paul Kinney, a very dear friend. As you can tell, he's a professional, one of the best radio voices in the industry. Thanks, Paul, for that. And as you know, Life Matters, we go a little bit deeper. We're a unique program. We're the only program on the air, full-length program, dedicated entirely not just to understanding the debate about life and abortion and infanticide and euthanasia, basically killing vulnerable human beings, because that's really what's at stake when we talk about the right to life, medical killing, intentional medical killing. So we go into depths on that, and everybody says, well, that's what abortion is. That's true. That's what it is. And that changed in 73, but as you know, if you ever listen to this program, we go a lot deeper because even many pro-lifers take a simple view of Roe v. Wade and don't understand its actual depth and understand its ramifications that are reverberating through society right now. And by not understanding that, you're not being truly pro-life. You're not fully understanding. And we are on many, many Christian stations, also on Conservative Talk. So I want to use this opportunity to encourage you, one of our themes, because I'll admit I am a Christian, but one of our themes is that you not be a simple Christian, that you dig deeper. And a very favorite scripture of mine is from the book of Proverbs, and that's Proverbs 14:15. The simple believe every word, but the wise look carefully before they step. And that's a very important principle, that we not simply be gullible Christians and easily believing everything we're told. We have a duty and a responsibility as you mature in life, and we do have other messages. We've talked about the call to maturity. You've got to get a hold of what's going on in your own life, even before you can start regulating the lives of others. So the call to maturity is understand the deeper principles. And just don't go off with your feelings or your, I hate to say it, your personal religious theology. And again, when we talk about the right to life, an excellent principle which America's founders put into the foundational premise of our nation, they intentionally did not use their personal theology. So we must go deeper to understand God is bigger than your personal theology. That's part of my theology. I just want to serve the living God. That's why I became a Christian. And if you're a Christian, I'm hoping that's the reason you became a Christian, whatever your denomination is. And believe it or not, we're not going to get into denominational stuff. We want to get into objective reality. And I believe God made objective reality. The God I serve and I seek is the God of objective reality. So today we're going to get in depth into the recent presidential debate. Now, those are pretty important men that we're debating, and you may not like either one. I really don't care. You have to look at the ideas that were expressed. Now, many people say, well, I don't like Biden's performance or his personality. And then other people say, oh yeah, well, I don't like Trump's personality. I want to remind you, again, going back to Proverbs 14, there's deeper issues. That's a very callow and simplistic view of life. They don't make me feel good. And that's okay. You're entitled to that. It doesn't change objective reality of the policies and the ideas that were expressed. And I'm very disappointed because I've met them. So many people have made that debate about performance and personality. And, oh gosh, Trump's going to win because of the failure performance. No, don't look at it that way. And I assure you, there are Democrats who are not looking at it that way. Look at the content of the principles that were discussed. And we're going to discuss specifically the principles that came up regarding the actual nature of Roe v. Wade, the actual nature of the abortion debate, because it's been misrepresented by the media. I want to remind you, don't be a simpleton. The media has not been honest about abortion. And don't take the media as your source of truth. You have to dig deeper. As that proverb and many other proverbs in the scriptures imply, if you want to have some intelligence, you better have a shovel. You better be willing to not easily go with feelings and surface feelings and every word that comes your way. Don't believe it. Examine, weigh the spirits, go deeper. And we have to do that on this issue. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to hear from both President Trump and we're going to hear from Dana Bash, who actually admitted something many media people don't admit. That was stunning. And she tried to put Biden on the spot, and he was on the spot because the lies of Roe v. Wade are still being exposed. I want to remind you that the decision in the Dobbs decision didn't fully change Roe v. Wade. The word that was used, again, a single word, the simple believe a single word. They don't think deeply on the meaning of the word. The word overturn, for some people, means, oh, we've destroyed Roe v. Wade. No, the denial of a state's rights is only part of the crime of Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade had much more evil and depth that has not been overturned. So the use of the word overturn, because it allows people to now vote on the topic, is not the full implications of the Dobbs decision. We've done programs on that, but now I want you to understand what's going on with this debate and this election, because it's not just about these two men. And you need to get the depth of the right to life debate if you're going to be successful in this election year and finding pro-life advocates. So when we come back, you're going to hear directly from President Trump, who really handled it well. And you're going to hear directly from President Biden. So yes, he bumped over his words, but every Democrat liked his policies. And you need to know that. And they have been now put on display. And that's what we're going to hear. We're going to hear that in just a moment.
Life Matters continues after this.
You know about our car donation program at California Pro-Life. We use one of the most respected programs in the nation. Go to the California Pro-Life page, californiaprolife.org. Scroll to the bottom and click on Donate My Car. It's that easy. Did you know you can also donate any vehicle, boat, motorhome, or even personal property? If you are nearing retirement age, you can also get a tax deduction by earmarking a portion of your upcoming compulsory distributions from your 401k. Just email us for information. California Pro-Life is fighting to equip California pro-lifers with understanding and the tools to again protect the unborn and other vulnerable innocents. Thank you for your help in this battle. Go to californiaprolife.org. That's californiaprolife.org for more information.
And now back to more Life Matters with Brian Johnston.
Okay, we're back. As I said, we're looking at this recent debate. You have to see the depths of this debate. And as you know, I think President Trump did a wonderful job. He was stellar. And he pointed out that the problem they have is that they are the radicals.
The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
So that was a masterful demonstration by President Trump in explaining the real issue. And we'll get into even more depths now, because you're going to have Dana Bash also put Biden on the spot about what is Roe v. Wade really. And you're going to hear that from Dana Bash, because she is going to stay on the topic.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states, I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I support Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
Okay, well, you just heard Dana Bash put Joe Biden on the spot, and you heard him repeat what's been repeated by the media since 1973. Oh, it's about trimesters. You know, it was never about trimesters. It never was. If you want to know more, you got to read my book. It's sad that more people aren't explaining the Doe v. Bolton. Doe v. Bolton was the decision conjoined to Roe v. Wade. And that basically said there doesn't have to be any time. Trimesters are irrelevant. Doe v. Bolton gave the authority and was explicit to make the abortion decision at any time if the doctor felt the woman's life or health was in danger. It's explicit. It is in the Supreme Court documents, and it still stands. And that's what the pro-aborts really like. It's Doe v. Bolton that makes doctors the authority. In fact, let me just remind you, I'm going to bring a Supreme Court justice here to explain that Roe v. Wade and Doe v. Bolton never gave women the right to choose the abortion. It gave them the right to ask for the abortion. And again, at any time in pregnancy, it didn't give her the authority to say, well, I want this kind of abortion, I want this procedure, and I want it done at this time. No, Roe v. Wade was very specific, and Doe v. Bolton more specific. Doctors will now do all abortions. Doctors will violate 3 millennia of Hippocratic Oath, and all of the laws in our nation were actually predicated on the Hippocratic Oath. The Hippocratic Oath was destroyed and attacked. Human babies will now be killed. And it's going to be doctors in violation of the Hippocratic Oath killing human babies. That's in Doe versus Bolton. They choose the method. They choose how late. And then they can ask the mother, well, gosh, this child now was born in the process of the abortion, but it's got these developmental issues, or maybe you still don't want it. And again, it doesn't need to have developmental issues. It's entirely about, well, what do you want? I'm the hired doctor. I kill. Doctors are the killers. That was the meaning of Roe v. Wade. The medical profession was directly altered. And listen to what Ruth Bader Ginsburg says. Listen to her.
Another feature of Roe is Roe really isn't about the woman's choice, is it? It's about the doctor's freedom to practice his profession as he thinks best. It wasn't woman-centered. It was physician-centered.
That he can do his profession in any way he feels best. The Hippocratic Oath was destroyed. That's the real issue. And now we're going to go back to the debate and the power that you really see in how our former president and how he handles the issue. And it's how you should handle the issue. And it's how you should talk to any candidates, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Where do they really stand on Doe v. Bolton, on doctors killing human babies? I understand, we've talked about it. I like babies. But the law said doctors can kill human beings. That was stated in Doe v. Bolton, and a human baby is a human being. That's the issue here. And if you don't understand that, then you're just going on. And again, we all have feelings. I have feelings. You have feelings. We all have feelings. But let's cut through just as President Trump did. What is really going on? What has been the misrepresentation of the media in these 51 years? Joe Biden tried to keep up that false front. Many Democrat candidates and even some Republicans that fall back to say, well, I do support choice. Well, you better hold them accountable. And you need to know how those words are being used. And you need to know what Roe v. Wade really means and Doe v. Bolton. And what the word choice really means. It means doctors and medicine is being used to kill vulnerable human babies. And you have to stand for that because that's what the right to life is about, protecting human life. We'll be right back after this.
Life Matters continues after this.
Hi, I'm Kevin Sorbo, and I was very excited when I heard about LifeFest Film Festival. LifeFest is the film festival dedicated to showcasing films that affirm the intrinsic worth of innocent human life and the profound significance of each life. I know one of your prizes is the Capra Award, awarded to that production that best reflects Frank Capra's thematic ideal. One seemingly insignificant person can in fact change the whole world in which he or she lives. That one singular life ends up being of vital importance. I'm so glad to hear that you are cherishing that in this film festival and are committed to artfully and creatively protect the lives of those who can't possibly promote themselves. They are dependent on the love and goodwill of people like you to speak on their behalf. Well done.
Find out about the exciting cultural change impacting Hollywood. Go to lifefilmfest.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, CEO of MyPillow. I support this show, and I would like to offer you our biggest discounts for listening. So please go to our website, mypillow.com, and put in the promo code at the end of this message to get the biggest discounts. Again, thanks for listening, and God bless.
And that promo code is LIFE. All caps, L-I-F-E, LIFE. So go to MyPillow, put in the promo code LIFE, and you'll get some wonderful discounts because Mike Lindell believes in you and in Life Matters.
And now back to more Life Matters with Brian Johnston.
Well, we're back. And we were talking about the recent debate. We're also talking about how you need to get a hold and understand this debate, how former President Trump handled it well, not just because he was lucid. That helps. Not just because he could put sentences together, not just because he didn't look like a zombie. Doesn't help your communications if you look like a zombie. But it's because of the issues. He got the issues, and we saw the real issues, not just of Joe Biden. Yes, that's where he stands. It's where the entire Democrat Party stands. You need to know that. The Democrats still want to cheer him, and they still want to replace him, not because of his policies. They don't want to replace him because of his policies. It's because, man, he's just not too swift. You've heard an earlier program. You can go to the podcast. We introduced Senator Fetterman, who himself had a debate where he was a zombie. And he said, look, it doesn't matter if you're a zombie. What matters is your policies. That's what matters. And he was quite lucid. Fetterman is now very lucid. And if you've been following, they're trying to make current President Biden appear very lucid. That isn't the issue. The issue is what are the policies of the different parties. And thankfully, former President Trump has really pulled the Republican Party up by its bootstraps and said, are you really protecting the Republic? Do you really believe in these principles? Are you just in this for your position? And a lot of rhinos, that's the term for Republican in name only, they seek public office because they like the adulation and the position. And I have to tell you, I have looked at Trump. I have friends who are personally dear friends with Donald Trump. I won't go into great depth on that. But he's serious when he says, I'd rather not do this. If we could continue with our republic, if people would defend our republic, then I wouldn't have to do this. And he said that in the debate. And so he wants to restore the republic and the principles of the republic. And indeed, that was one of the things that the Roe versus Wade, Doe v. Bolton decisions did, is it took away the rights of the lawmakers who represent the people to make laws. It took it away not just from the states, but also from the federal government. So all lawmakers, they're the ones empowered to make laws. And that was the greatest visible violation of Roe v. Wade and Doe v. Bolton. But the deeper issues is, no, it went even deeper. It was a truly evil decision. It went deeper than just, well, people should vote on it. And you need to understand that if you're going to understand this debate. It destroyed the backbone of medical ethics and our cultural value of vulnerable, innocent people, that you don't kill them in the name of mercy, in the name of compassion, in the name of overpopulation, in the name of, well, they're just not wanted. Nobody wants this kid. It's compassion to kill this kid. The doctor's oath is so important to Western civilization and to your culture, and yet so few understand it. If you're truly pro-life, you're going to want to understand it even deeper and explain it to others. And if you can't, then I'm getting very bothered with you. If you only think it's about babies. Again, I want to remind you, babies are killed frequently, particularly baby animals. And Barack Obama could tell you this. Barack Obama ate dogs at one time when he lived in the Orient. And he said they're actually pretty good. And he would tell you, and other cultures will tell you, actually, yeah, any carnivore will tell you, eating animals is good. It's tasty. That's okay. But you know what? The younger they are. So many carnivores, people who eat dogs, well, they prefer baby dogs because, again, it may sound offensive to our culture, but killing young creatures whom we all love. I've mentioned this before. Psychologically, you're a human being, and all human beings are impacted by younger creatures, particularly younger mammalian creatures. Yes, our own babies. And we find puppies to be even cuter than older dogs. But the idea of eating them, yeah, that's alarming. But Roe v. Wade was wrong, not because babies were killed. It's because human babies were killed. Human beings whom the Hippocratic Oath says, never kill your fellow human beings. And doctors swore to do that, not after Roe and Doe. So please understand this debate. Please understand how greatly your culture all around you has been impacted, because doctors now are killing, obviously not just babies. They're killing. They're using their position of honor. Dr. Fauci isn't really moved by the fact that, well, maybe he got it wrong. Maybe him collecting, and he did. He collected financial benefit from the tests that he helped finance. Well, that violates the Hippocratic Oath. If it's killing people, if it's harming them, that's really astounding. And more importantly, there were many doctors, because the Government Medical Association said, don't use that cure. It's actually a very effective cure. If you'll recall, ivermectin demonstrated, but professional medical people who had to follow what the government said prohibited its use. And I know individuals who died, and I know individuals who were healed by the use of ivermectin. And if you don't remember that debate, then you have short-term memory loss. And I strongly recommend that you think more deeply. One of the program's purposes is to get you to think more deeply. And many people have responded to me and thanked us. That's what we do here. I'm glad if you're pro-life. That's great. I'm glad if you're a conservative. That means you believe in the principles of the Republic. Awesome. But make sure you're more deep in your analyses. Go deeper and stand for what's really true. Make sure you're not standing on the surface ideas like rhinos do. Make sure you're not simplistic Christians. And by the way, all denominations are seeing this right now. There's a lot of callow Christianity out there, whether it be in certain churches, and I'm not picking on any denomination, I'm kind of picking on all of them. If you are callow and simplistic and go with your feelings, you aren't going to be willing to take up your cross, because taking up your cross means I got to get to the deeper issues of life. I better take them on. And it doesn't feel good. Sometimes I do urge you, if you're going to be involved, you got to do things. And I got into this. To be honest, I was never into politics my whole life until I became pro-life. And I understood politics is policy. And if we don't get in and get the right policy, you will never protect the innocent. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand. Listen to Donald J. Trump as he brings deeper insight into what's being discussed. He talks about what that really means, what Mr. Biden really means.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen.
That's right. Nobody wants that to happen. Even Democrats who think they like abortion, they don't want late-term abortion. They don't want post-birth abortion. Mr. Trump has spelled it out, and that's your job and my job. That's why you must understand and know this issue and explain it not only to your Democrat neighbors, but sometimes even to your Republican neighbors. They need to understand why the Republican Party needs to adhere to its principles to not dispose of innocent human life. When you hear from me again, I'm going to be at the Republican National Convention. And the reason I go to the Republican National Convention is, yes, I'm a Republican. And yes, I want to keep the party pro-life, committed to the true right to life, not just the surface, but the actual depth, the legal depth of what the right to life is. Because parties do indeed matter. Principles do indeed matter. You know, historically, the right to life cause has been nonpartisan. But let's be frank, when there's political parties that want unlimited abortion and even late-term and post-birth abortion, that party must be called out. We would do the same if it were the National Socialist Party, which it did, by the way. It used abortion. If it was the Communist Party, which also used abortion as a social tool. So we're being straightforward and honest on that. So I'll come back to you next time, tell you some stuff about what's happening in Wisconsin at the National Republican Convention. And if you want to find out more of the stuff that I'm doing, go to brianjohnston.net. As you know, I'm a former commissioner on aging, and I'm very concerned with all of the vulnerable human beings. That would be babies. But you need to know that there is an agenda aimed at those who are older, those who are infirm. And I want to equip you on that and many other topics that are related to life. Go to brianjohnston.net and you can find out some of those, and do subscribe. Thanks for listening.
If you have questions or comments for Life Matters, call 800-924-2490. Give us your name and the town you're calling from and a quick question or comment. Learn more about everything in today's show online at lifematters.life, where you'll find all the resources you need to protect life. Life Matters is a production of the California Pro-Life Council.